Welcome all to Walk in the Weird. I am Tyler, and as always with me.
It's Sean, guys. How's it going?
And this is part 3 of BTK.
Yeah.
And on this episode, what are we exactly going over?
So I was gonna, you know me. I'm kinky. I wanted to go straight into the murders again, but I think we deserve a little bit of a break from that. We did a little tosser episode in between before this one, but this one I wanted to focus primarily on the communications and kind of like the psychology behind of BTK. Like, not only was he doing this, but he had a family, he had another life, he had like jobs, hobbies, and everything like that. Just kind of fit in to the madness and complete the picture a little bit more before we go back into the murders.
Yeah, he needed less hobbies.
He needed less hobbies.
Really?
Like a lot of less hobbies.
And I know you're going to go into kind of what he was doing outside of his... what was it? What did Kemper say? His fast food manager,
bro,
like credentials or whatever.
Yeah, Kemper basically called him like a fast food manager of the criminal organization world, or a criminal world.
He, unlike a lot of people, he had a normal, semi-normal life, and I think that's kind of what you're gonna get into, like with his wife and everything.
Right.
I just listening to what you're all about to hear, I've always found it fascinating because how did he separate well enough to where no one knew?
Right, exactly. And I do apologize. I'm just trying to like pull up all my notes here. So if you see me typing, that's what it is. I do apologize.
He just doesn't like you.
He just like me. No, it's crazy.
You yell at him in the comments. Thank you.
No, so real quick, let's go into that with Dennis Schrader. So he has 2 kids, right? One of them that was
so bad for them because they're innocent victims too.
Right, and actually, it's actually funny because his daughter Carrie Rawson, which dropped the name Raider.
Well,
I get it. But Carrie Rawson was part of the reason why he was ultimately found. So.
Good.
She wrote a few books about it being like, the daughter of a serial killer, all that stuff. And from what she says, like, there were like little hints of aggression, but overall she was like, we had no clue. Like, he was normal. His other son, Brian Rader, says the same thing, except he says that because he was a boy, I guess Rader had maybe a little bit of a heavier hand with Brian.
And it seems like he has a really big problem with men. Especially,
right? Oh, I thought you meant Brian. I was like,
no, I'm just saying. Like, I genuinely hope his son scared him. Like, I genuinely have a distaste for BTK.
I don't know if he ended up hating him or anything like that. I think it was just kind of like, from what I read, Brian was kind of like hey, I kind of want to not be associated with anything of this ever again. Don't talk to me. I'm just a normal guy. Like, leave me alone.
Oh, after everything.
Yeah. Carrie was kind of more of like, nah, I fucking hate my dad. Like, fuck this guy. Like, with good reason. I think Brian probably shares those feelings too, but it's kind of like,
what am I
going to do now?
Because as a man, it's already seen as like a serial killer thing that you're going to be a guy. So he's probably like, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah. The last thing I need.
I'm not this person, like,
right, and like the last thing I need is to be like attached to this already with the stigma and everything like that.
I didn't do that shit. He did. Like,
exactly.
Go after him, not me.
And it's funny because we've seen it historically that a lot of like generations get blamed for like the previous generation or the previous. You know what I mean?
Was it the seventh son of the seventh son?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like
you even seen in politics. Not to get political, but you even seen it where people compliment Donald Trump's dad and Donald Trump's uncles and his grandfathers, but yet with him they give him all shit and everything like that, and they don't associate. Anyway, the point is, he also had a wife, Paula Dietz.
Isn't it Dietz?
Dietz, whatever. Who cares?
I didn't know if that was someone else. Like,
no. It's
I'm just
Paula
curious.
Dietz.
I was like, I swear,
it's Paula Dietz. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it correctly, but it looked like Dietz to me, so whatever. But she was kind of a little bit more like, I guess she thought in her mind that she had a perfect family with like a few things, like, they lived in Wichita, which wasn't a dangerous place when they first got there. Obviously he brought it, but Like she didn't. They thought it was like a perfect place to grow with the family. They were all part of church, which is one of the
I
things
mean,
that Dennis Rader did. He was
I
a
mean,
deacon or a
technically,
guy.
in her defense, she was probably one of the safest people in that
Maybe,
area.
maybe.
Like,
I mean, but how long before he was going to turn on her?
yeah,
You know,
true.
what if that voice in his head or that claim in his head finally went, "That's her."
Yeah, they have one bad fight where he's like, no more.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you now,
No.
and then
Yeah.
you have a whole big problem, and that was kind of like the thing. But like, okay, like during this time, we're primarily focusing on 1974 to 1991. Around that time, Dennis Rader was doing. He started off doing dog catching, and then he did the ADT security, or it wasn't ADT, but it was like a company like ADT. During both of these times, though, as he's also doing the killings, he's also a youth pastor, like youth
Yep.
pastor fucking dude that holds like all these meetings at his house, and they have like the church, and then they have like the bunk in. I don't know if you guys have ever done that as like a church or school where they do bunk in where everyone like sleeps in the auditorium or
Oh yeah,
whatever. You know
yeah,
what I mean? They have the
yes, yeah,
teachers there too and everything
yeah.
like that.
It's like a overnights, yeah,
Yeah.
or something like
And
that.
they like
Yeah,
talk about the gospel and all that stuff, or if like you're doing it at school, they'll talk
yeah,
about like school stuff.
yeah. You do fun things, you do
Yeah,
fun
little
activities, but
activities.
also they're like, hey, we want to bring it back to the
To the school
Jesus,
stuff, yeah,
yeah,
or Jesus, yeah,
yeah.
depending on what you did. I know in my youth, a lot of my friends were part of like youth groups, so they invited me, and I ended up staying at a few bunk-ins, which were pretty cool. Like they weren't too bad. But he's doing this and having this normal life, teaching the youth of the next generation and everything, and killing some of those people's even mothers, like Like this was a neighborhood killing. Like the dude down the street was like, you know what I mean? It was so crazy that a lot of these people didn't even get a good look at Dennis enough to be like, this is the guy from around the corner. Which is funny enough, actually brings into to Paula Diaz. I kind of wanted to give you that where you kind of wanted to point it out. We're gonna go into detail a little bit further, but I kind of wanted you to kind of take the lead charge of when Paula Diaz or Dietz heard BTK's voice on the news.
Oh yeah, no, like so she's like, oh, he sounds like you, and then freaking our boy Dennis over here gets all mad.
Oh, dude, he got so furious. It was funny because Paula Dietz
If you're
actually.
really worried about that, by the way, Dennis, don't fucking do that. Sorry.
No, 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 no. To make it even better, to add icing to the cake, during that broadcast that they're talking about now, this broadcast for that Paul Dietz heard was on August 15th, 1979, where the Wichita police finally released a broadcast of his 911 call, where he was talking like robotic-ish and kind of like stupid, like missing grammatical errors on purpose. Or they thought it was on purpose to try to like throw him off track.
When he's just retarded.
But but it's funny because Paula Dietz said that when he got mad during that news bulletin, he was tying rope. He was practicing the knots.
But that's what I'm talking about.
As
Like,
he was
she
doing
starts
it.
pressing him a little bit, like not saying like she
Right.
thinks he did it, but she's like, oh, that's really weird. And then he just like,
And he lost his
you
shit,
too?
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was so crazy. I thought it was like hearing that story and like kind of like not just replaying it in my head, but hearing all the other details. You're just like, bro.
I don't. That makes me think like maybe he's not like a full on psychopath where he doesn't have like it's just cold because he couldn't control himself enough to be like, no, I don't hear it.
The
Like the fact that he had that instant reaction,
right.
like it's like he still had his emotions and stuff. Like because I hear this all the time with all these guys. Oh, they're psychopaths. They're psychopaths. Like no, there's different levels and like not
Yeah.
all of them are.
Right.
So I've heard it with him. That's
No,
why I brought
no,
it
no,
up,
you're good.
that he's a psychopath. I'm like, maybe like he has like he can't control himself. He's like an impulse guy because it would I think it would make more sense. What do you think?
So
like,
with-
that he's more impulsive than he leads himself on because he tries to do like oh
Right.
I'm gonna do all this like thinking and choreographing what I'm gonna do and all. I think he's just an impulse guy. I don't because of his track record so far.
It shows
he's-
impulse, a lot of
where
impulsivity.
the second one little piece of his plan
It all goes up in
just
flames.
not even not even
Yeah.
like a little off or I'm sorry like a lot off like a little bit like oh I didn't expect him to live. Well, you didn't even check.
Yeah, you didn't even check.
Like,
but
what are you
okay,
doing?
so the not checking and then the getting angry and everything like that. Like as much as you could be a psychopath, because he is a psychopath. But again, psychopaths and sociopaths.
I think they think he's cold all the time. He just doesn't.
And that goes with the misconception.
Dispassionate because
Right.
because of that interview where he's
Right, where
you
he's
know,
just very
it's
cold.
Like, it's like no, he can't control himself.
He's okay again, and that goes with the whole psychopath and sociopath. So psychopath is one spectrum, and sociopath is one spectrum. They could both lead to the violent recourse. Now, when you're a psychopath, you don't have feelings, but you don't have feelings more towards other people. Like it's way blank. It's way blanker than anything, and you lose impulse control when you're very like low functioning. So he was more on the lower functioning.
He was low functioning.
He was lower
Sorry,
functioning.
I'm just really enjoying making fun of him.
No, it's true. He was low functioning on certain aspects. So like the impulse control, it was still broken. So he couldn't resist impulse control, which is what happens to a lot of like serial killers.
But
like they have impulse control issues.
And I know this is kind of jumping ahead by a lot. The fact that he wasn't caught for so long with that level of lack of impulse control is crazy.
It's crazy.
Like how
it's crazy.
He not to say he got lucky, but he got lucky.
Yeah, no, he got lucky.
Like most people who are like him that do those things, they get one or two and then
But also
caught because they can't help themselves. They screw up.
But also it was a stigma back in the day, and I hate to put it this way, but it's also was a stigma back in the day. Like if you were a woman and you got raped back in the day, people felt shameful for themselves, and it's like I don't understand the psychology behind it, but I guess it was a society or the culture at the time.
Like a what are you wearing kind of thing. Like what were you wearing?
Yeah. Like they try to victim blame or be like, oh, well, she was always like this. Or they always like devalue people based on like what happened to them, and it's like during that age it was very prominent. So for them, probably if like they survived, it was kind of like
They just wanted to go back to work. They
yeah.
just wanted to,
so a lot of people that either potentially could have gotten hurt or maybe got hurt or whatever also were like, yeah, I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to be on the news and you know what I mean? I'd rather just go back to living my simple life, which is disappointing for people who do get attacked or who do get that, but it's like it's also like I guess in a way understandable, but not really. I don't know. It's tricky. But with Dennis Rader, he was on the lower end of the functioning scale. So he had no remorse, but what he had was fear. He was afraid. So he would get afraid of like people being alive or whatever, getting caught. So he got afraid. So what your natural thing to do is when you get afraid is to get mad because it's better to be angry than to be afraid.
Yeah.
In basic psychology.
It's like, hey, Dennis, if you're that afraid, maybe you should check.
Yeah, you should at least take the second to check. But to the point of psychology of what Edmund Kemper said, and not that he's very involved in the case. It was a brief interview that they talked about it. It's that he acted like a child. Like he acts like he has the emotions of a child when it comes to like impulse control and everything. While a person like Kemper, who just his only impulse control was, I'm not getting any recognition. Like nobody's even close. Fuck it, I'll call myself in and you know. That's a different type of. That's more egotistical.
I can definitely see the impulse control of a child because it's like I said, like when
right.
things go bad, he instead of like figuring it out, he's just like, well,
yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, even when he talks to the detectives, and again, we're skipping ahead. When he finally does get caught,
sound like exactly like what he does. Like
right.
If the person survives, he's like, well, you weren't supposed to die.
Yeah, but he does it with the detective. When he got caught, he's like, well, you did this, and he's like, well, duh, I'm a detective. What did you think I was gonna do? Like
it.
And we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
It wasn't. We're gonna
get to that. Not in this episode of when he gets caught. But
I just
want
everyone to be aware. He's not a young man when he's doing this stuff.
No.
He's not 18. He's not 20. He has kids. He has wife.
He's an older man. He looks literally like one of those guys that wear polos all the time, that go to the grocery store, that pick out like apples, wear the New Balance shoes.
That gets annoying talking about golfing all the time.
Right. He looks like a golfer. Thank you.
Yes.
He looks like a golfer.
Like oh, you're just at the store because you're waiting for your tea time.
Which ironically enough, also one of his hobbies. Golfer, wood whittler, all that stuff. He did a bunch of stuff like that.
I didn't know about the golfing thing. I think that's hilarious that for someone with his impulse control, how the fuck would he golf?
I Okay, so I think people confuse
How much
driving.
money did he spend on golf clubs? Like, the second it didn't go his way, he started just breaking stuff.
I think for them, for a lot of people, they get confused between golfing and driving. So a lot of people will go to the driving range and be like, "Oh yeah, I golf," and it's like you don't golf, you practice. But
like, did he golf or did he do the driving?
it just says golfing.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't say
But
specific.
I think he would probably lean towards the driving range.
Yeah, I think so too, because
I
he
don't
doesn't
think
seem like a person that could stay in a game that long.
He can't handle
Right.
he has to be in control. It's like, well, golf is not the game for you.
Right, it's
Like,
very not the game for you.
no, like chess or something, something where you control all the pieces that you may lose, but at least you
Right.
lost. Like it
Right.
wasn't just, oh well, the green wasn't cut directly the way it was yesterday, so now you just lose.
Which
Like,
dives into like the other sociopaths and psychopaths who lead healthy lives, who like become lawyers and race car drivers. Like, even though I control the outcome of this right now, there are things in the external that keep me humble, that keep me in lane.
yeah,
You know what
just,
I mean? And,
just enough.
Just
Like,
enough.
Yeah.
Because you see breaks in those people too. Like, you'll see where breaks were like, yeah, I don't care, I'm gonna win now, and they'll just fucking go crazy.
But
And-
they don't put them.
Right.
They put themselves in those situations to keep them okay, so they don't actually do anything.
But that's the difference. They put themselves into the situation, while like
he
people like
doesn't
Dennis, they put other people in the
Yeah,
situation.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm hung up on the golfing thing
No.
because it seems so out of.
And
If you
it goes
think
to
of someone like that, they're not golfing.
And it goes
They
to
don't
wonder:
do that.
Do you think
Like,
it was a real hobby he really enjoyed, or
No.
was he doing it as a
as
cover?
a cover?
As a cover,
It would
like,
have
yeah,
to
you know.
be
Right.
a cover because it doesn't. I would love to talk to someone that like knows a lot about like the psychological stuff to ask them, be like, hey. Does this even work? Like, do
would
they
this
do
make
this, or are
sense?
we completely wrong, or is
Right.
this like normal?
Right. And then there's a
Because
lot
it
of
could
people.
be.
It could be. It
like,
could be.
oh yeah, this happens all the time. And then you're like, oh okay.
Because like I think about it, if he's a person who does driving, then that would make sense. Like, he just buys whatever clubs and he just whacks the shit out of the ball, gets a lot of his anger out. But then at the same time, it's like, then why is he so unhinged? If he's that unhinged, that you know what I mean? Because like even older gentlemen and everything like that, they use driving as a way of getting their anger out. Like, you hear it all the time. Like, you've been to a driving range. I've been to a driving range where they're like, oh, the wife this week, you know, blah 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 blah.
It's a
outlet.
guy thing.
Yeah.
It's not a like, oh, they're evil. No, it's a guy thing. It's a
Yeah.
release.
It's a release of all
It's
that
actually
stuff.
a good thing.
Right.
But like I also
Totally, I agree. It doesn't fit with.
it doesn't because I wanted to get on what you said before with his jobs, dog catcher. A lot of these guys like to hurt animals, but like I think he enjoyed catching them. I think
Right.
he enjoyed, and then like
A few of his coworkers actually mentioned that when he does catch the dogs, he was rather
rough.
yeah, like he would have like the choker thing on him, and he would like pull it and like yank him.
I remember something about hearing
Yeah.
about that where they're like he got in trouble because people would like, what the fuck, like, dog was fine. Why are you?
Oh,
like,
not just
dragging
that.
him?
He started going over the lines where he would take dogs out of people's houses. He would harass women and take their dogs when they wouldn't listen to him and everything like that. To the point where he almost acted like in one of the murders, he acts like a law enforcement.
Yeah,
he pretends
I-
to be a law enforcement.
That's actually really common. With
Yeah.
serial killers, by the way.
They
do
pretend to be law
they do the
enforcement.
military, or they go, or they go in law enforcement stuff.
Yep. And Dennis Rader did serve in the military. Fucking, you saw Jeffrey Dahmer, military. All them,
A lot of them try. Most of the time, they actually get kicked out because they can't handle authority.
Right.
'Cause they have to be the authority.
and that's so funny because you hear a lot of people that go off their rocker and they go, oh, they must have been like law enforcement and military that they went crazy. It's like, you'd be surprised how actually well hinged those people are because they follow authority for the most part. I mean, it's not rare, but it's more rare to see like a rogue cop, rogue military than it is to see.
Yeah, and it's
normal
usually
people
the
go
person
bad.
that already has the, like you said, like the cofactor of
Right.
they're already a little off and they've been able to hide it for so long until they can't anymore. It wasn't the military or the police state, like
It was an
department that
amalgamation
made
of
them that way.
everything.
It kind of gave them the training
Right.
to do it better.
And-
They were probably already far along that path before they even started doing that stuff.
Right,
Like,
and that's what I think helped out Dennis Rader in this aspect. While he couldn't be a law enforcement person to like go on patrol, he did it
Denise.
with dogs.
yeah.
He walked around, he watched people, and he picked out his victims like that. And then when he went to his security job, he did the same thing.
But also with the security thing, think about it from his point of view. Oh, I'm providing them security, but they don't know what I am.
My guy, there's interviews with people on TV from these stations. Hang on, I have a few of these stations here that they have KAKE TV.
I thought you were gonna say KTAR.
No, not KTAR. No, KAKE and a few KAKE TV and a few other like, not even just that, police broadcasting that bought like commercial time and everything. They would say like, hey, they would interview people and be like, hey, with the security, with like all the security going up, like, what's the main reason for you getting it? Some people would be like one or two people would be like, oh, animals late at night, blah, 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 blah. Most of them, like 99% of them were like BTK. The very person who was going in there and installing those was the one that they were getting it for, because he was there. He was fucking doing that shit. And he came out deliberately, especially during that court case that Tyler loves where he's just like stone faced. He's talking about how he would purposely manipulate the fucking system so they wouldn't go off, or he'd get the code. So he'd go in, disable the code, do what he had to do, go back in, re-enable the code, close it, and leave. And it's like
the cops showed, like, oh wow, how do you get around the alarm?
Yeah, how did he get around the alarm?
Didn't.
And it confused people for such a long time. So much so that like this mystery for BTK for so long confused so many people that they had to create a task force in the fucking in the police. That task force, believe it or not, was called the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and apparently that task force couldn't, got a like viable, like retelling of what Dennis looked like and just threw it away.
No, actually, that was local police, not
local.
Ghostbusters.
Okay,
Ghostbusters actually criticized the fact that in the initial reports that was thrown out. Yeah, the Ghostbusters actually were a part of the division of the police that
Imagine being the detective and you have to listen to like someone say that. You're like,
are you fucking kidding me?
What? Like, I could have been home.
Because the detective when he catches Raider, he looks at Raider and he goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" He goes, "We knew what he looked like." Like they had the sketch.
By the way, this happens like a lot. Like
quite more often
from a bunch of the serial killer cases in like the 70s and 80s. All of a sudden they have the sketch of because someone saw them or something, and it's 1-to-1 like the best sketch you've ever seen.
Bro,
and it's like
bro,
perfect.
my guy.
You're like,
real
just
quick,
look for that guy. Why didn't you go look for that guy?
Real quick shifting because it has to do with this, and then we're gonna shift back to BTK. But Zodiac during that time, bro, Zodiac when he killed Paul we're gonna go into the case later, but he kills a guy, and then two kids are watching him kill him from a window. They call dispatch and they go, "Hey, bro, there's this dude like just killing bitches. Like, what are we gonna do?" And they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll send someone there." For whatever reason, when the message was getting relayed from dispatch to the cops, someone mistakenly said, "Oh, the suspect is black," and they're like, "Cool, got it, register black."
That's all they heard. That's all they.
No, not just that. That's all they heard. That was like the description. They got the matching, everything like that, and they're like, "Okay, cool, but he's black. All right, cool. So we're looking for a black guy." Two detectives ran by a white guy who was literally covered in Paul's blood, and walked by them, and they stopped him and then let him go because he didn't match the description, and. Both of those.
You let a guy go covered in blood. Why would you stop him anyway?
But the two police were like, "Yeah, we ran by like some dude that was walking away from the murder."
Dude, he had like all these spaghetti on him. It was crazy.
Dude, and the main detective, the dude that eats like graham crackers, like animal crackers, like he was obsessed with animal crackers. He's like, "So you just let him walk away?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, the description was a black guy." He goes, "What? He's coming from? You didn't think that it could have been a mistake?" Like,
Dude, I think those grams went uncracked that day.
bro, he was so upset. He was like, "Are you fucking kidding
I'd probably
me?"
shoot them. Like,
Oh my, dude, he was so pissed off. Like, he needed a double box of graham crackers
dude,
after
seriously,
that.
I'd be like, what do you say to them?
But
Like,
dude,
you.
and then the worst part, bro, is the Zodiac reaches out to the news stations and the police
Tell
stations.
them I'm not playing.
No, not just that. And said, "Hey, bro, your two detectives were very close to catching me." And then the fucking detectives were like, "Are you fucking joking?"
I hope after that they switched their like description of the guy to white guy.
Well, no, because they thought this was unrelated. They didn't think it was a Zodiac at first. They thought it was completely unrelated. They were trying to do it, and then Zodiac communicates with them. "Hey, bro, I was the one that killed this guy. I did this, and your two detectives were so close."
I thought you meant just them, the meeting of them. I didn't
No.
know the killing. They didn't know the killing was part of it.
They didn't know it was at first when they got there, because the detective that does the graham cracker thing, the guy who caught Zodiac or tried to catch Zodiac, he was homicide detective. So
Yeah.
pretty much every homicide they sent this dude. So it was like they didn't think it was related, and then when the Zodiac reached out, they were like, "Oh my god, it was connected to the Zodiac, and you guys let him go."
And it apparently this happens a lot.
It happens a lot. It happened with a few killers in the Detroit area. It's quite common.
I don't understand, as like your job, like when you get the description, you have the description, they do a, because didn't they do a pencil up of it or whatever? Mm-hmm. Just stick it in the file. What do you care? Like,
To some extent, I get with the police. It's like you want to take away as much of like shitty information as you can, because that's what happened with the Ghostbusters for BTK. Everyone was like, "My nephew's the BTK killer," and he's like, "No, it's not. Your nephew just is probably like going to a club at night and just doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Like he's probably leading a double life. He's probably has like a mistress or something.
he's gay. It's
Or
okay.
he's gay. He's
well,
gay.
for that time, it's like he's gay. It's
I
fine.
mean, maybe,
he's not
but-
a serial killer.
Right. But they had like a bunch of things. They had the whole, and funny as hell, I literally looked in just for shits, Bigfoot BTK. Tyler.
You don't have to say the rest. I know.
There was a
Of course
few
it is.
calls where they were like, "I think Bigfoot is BTK," and they're like,
course it is.
"Have a good day." They just like,
It's like, hey Tyler, why don't you really believe in Bigfoot? That's why.
that's
Shit
why.
like that.
Right there. That's why.
Because I don't know, if I was a big feet, I would come out and have like a press conference like, hey, that's really mean. Like,
Don't
I'm just in the
talk about
forest.
me.
I didn't hurt nobody.
That's cultural
Fuck you.
appropriating
Yeah.
with the beards and everything. Y'all fucking me over.
Like,
Don't
I'd
do
be
that.
Pissed.
No, but like, so they had a bunch of, and it didn't help. It didn't help the case with the police that they had BTK constantly communicating with them. I'm gonna go over the communications right now, but I kind of wanted
That'd
to.
be annoying.
Oh, dude, imagine having a little baby going, "Hey, bro, you're so cool."
Dude,
It's like, bro,
by the
I'm gonna
time I
punch you.
found him, I would just shoot him.
I would just run, just run over to the car with them. Finally got you, bitch. But anyway, so like you can
And
only
then I'd
imagine.
retire. Like, I couldn't do it after that. I'd be like, I'm done.
Bro.
I can't. But I've actually heard this from other places where like the people who do these kind of jobs, like these detective jobs, or they do special victims unit. It's not that they're addicted to it; they want to help them so bad, so they stay. Even though it crushes them, it destroys their families, all this stuff. They stay because they're like, well, there's no one else.
And
to
some
do
of them,
this.
and some of them,
there's no one else to help them. Nobody
Yeah.
cares. Like, there's
and,
no.
and some of them have even like a higher calling like that, where they're like, "Hey, this is what I do. There's people getting hurt. This is what I got to do." Like I don't know if you read the book Codename Pale Horse. Bro, read it. It's from a former FBI guy, and he talks about like all the sex trafficking shit and everything like that, and how he was part of it, and like the white supremacy, because he's like super anti-white supremacist, and he infiltrated a lot of
wasn't
those
a
people.
Part of it, he infiltrated.
Yeah, he infiltrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a part of it. Where he
He's trying to
infiltrated.
stop it.
Yeah. And he was trying to get like intel from him, so he had to like join, and like,
Dude, the fact that those guys don't just walk in and just start shooting, like
bro,
the things they see, like how do you sit across from people like that every day, and you're just like,
not
I have
just
to
that,
hold
bro.
myself back.
Not just that, bro.
Like,
Just
I
I can
know what
imagine
you
the
did.
terror. I can imagine the terror, because he was saying that a lot of like those places where they do gun trainings, he's like, this gun training was led by a 19-year-old. He goes, let me tell you something. He was fucking good. He goes, he was good. He was really good. He goes, and you get a bunch of these hate groups that are doing this type of shit. And he goes, and they're really, he goes, they're pretty
That's
fucking
all
good.
they do all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, it's scary out there to think about that. But anyway, we'll get
Sorry.
into that.
Sorry.
We'll get into one of those
Yeah.
cases later because we're going to bring those up for sure. But so the communications and taunting of BTK were the first one started off in January 15th, 1974. Rader ended up committing his first known murders and killing 4 members of the Otero family in Wichita, Kansas. Later that April, as we stated before, Rader murders Catherine Bright. On October of that year of 1974, Rader sends his first letter to the authorities claiming responsibility for the Otero murders and introducing his moniker BTK, Bind, Torture, Kill, Signature. Which, by the way, if you actually look at the logo, it looks like his like a stick figure of his face, just like that. It's pretty wild. I was looking at that, I was like, oh shit,
And
I wonder if he knew that.
I think we need to stop there because I think you have some misinformation. He didn't really kill her. He more failed completely, constantly.
Who? Catherine Bright?
Yeah.
No, Catherine Bright died.
I know, but like, okay, he did kill her.
But it took him a while.
But
Yeah, it took him a while.
dude, that's not one you should be proud of. Like,
Right.
like,
No.
you suck.
So during the time of what is it? January 31st, 1978. Skipped a little bit because you murdered Shirley Vian, which we'll get into, and then Nancy Fox. In 1978, January 31st, a poem referring the Vian killing is sent to Wichita Eagle Beacon. So he sent a poem that he wrote about the murder to Wichita Eagle. February 10th in 1978, a letter from BTK is sent to KAKE TV. We were talking about that earlier, claiming responsibility for the deaths of the Vian and Fox, announcing himself as a serial killer. He proclaimed himself as a serial killer. And
If you saw me, you probably did eat a lot of cereal. I'm just saying.
BTK in 1979, April 28th, BTK attempts the murder of Ann Williams, but leaves when she doesn't return home as expected. There's a broadcast, which is what we were talking about, later on in August of that year, 1979, August 15th, where they release a recording because of this failed attempt. Because of this failed attempt, they're kind of like narrowing down on BTK a little bit at this point. And on that day, August 15th, police broadcast a recording of BTK's voice, leading to numerous tips, including the conversation that we had with Paula Dietz, where she tells BTK, "Hey, that guy sounds awfully like you," and BTK goes off the handle.
No.
Right. And during that time, after he murders Maureen Hedge, which we're gonna go over, murders a few other people, and then he goes silent in 1991. When he does end up resurfacing, the Wichita Eagle publishes a 30th anniversary article about BTK murders. 30 years of BTK torment. In January, and that was in January 2004.
He goes dark for like 14 years, right?
Yeah,
It's
14
something
years.
like that,
Yep.
yeah.
March 19th, 2004, BTK resurfaces officially, sending a letter to the Wichita Eagle with photos of Vicky Wagler's murder and a copy of her driver's license. Throughout 2004, Rader continues to send taunting messages and packages to the media and police, including clues like a word puzzle and an outline of a book called The BTK Story. Those were pretty much all the communications he had during that time. Now, during that time, with all the stuff that he's been doing, his deviancies keep getting worse and worse.
He couldn't contain himself anymore.
Not just that he couldn't contain himself anymore, he was having issues with the way he was developing his fetishes. Like he started, and for those people who are more in the true crime thing, you kind of see that a little bit during one of the shows, Mindhunter, where he starts bounding himself, and then
Oh, yeah.
like there's pictures online. I looked at the pictures. I don't think I'm gonna post them. They might be a little too much here.
Probably shouldn't.
But there's photos of him with a very feminine mask on.
Oh, the doll mask?
Yeah, and he's buried in like in the fucking dirt, and then a victim shows up in the same way, and there's like he's like hanging himself off doorknobs and stuff with women's panties in his mouth or wearing women's underwear or whatever. He also mimics the little girl from the Otero family and sends it to the police, where he's hanging off of a pipe and he's like, and he has his body in the same position, and it's basically like undressed like her as well. So he does some pretty fucked up shit. He starts going into this. What a lot of psychologists say is like,
I wish he would have screwed up when he was doing that.
right,
Saved us all the trouble.
right.
Sorry.
And
no, I'm not sorry at all. No.
And during that time, believe it or not, he starts having problems at home. Paul Dietz catches him doing one of these things. So he has to explain the autoerotic asphyxiation and all this stuff and everything like that. And
How the hell would you explain that?
people have fetishes. People are deviants like that. Like, I mean, in her opinion, like, probably after finding out everything, she was like, why couldn't you just be kinky? Like,
Yeah,
why did you
seriously.
have to do all
Like,
this?
Just go to a freaking one of those clubs and do your whatever.
But
You
for
didn't have
them, it's way more. It's about control. Like,
That-
those
that's
guys.
The thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You have the people who like the BDSM stuff.
Yeah.
Don't mix them in with that.
Right.
It's a separate thing. Everyone does. Oh my god. No, it's a separate thing.
It's a completely
not
sexual.
the
It's a
same
completely
thing.
sexual obsession with power and killing.
Yeah,
BDSM is just an obsession with
They
role
just-
playing
yeah.
during sexual activities. It's a very different
and
thing.
You're both supposed to kind of. You both get off.
Right, and
your own way.
Okay, because in that type of relationship where you're talking about like controlling, the submissive person enjoys being submissive.
Yes,
they
that's what I'm
they get
saying.
off on
It's
that.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the
It's
dominant
not-
one gets off on being dominant. So it's like
I've seen it. I've seen other things where they're like, hey, if they're like, you understand that if one party doesn't consent, this is not cool, and you shouldn't do any of this shit.
And believe it or not, a lot
they're
of
very strict with
Yeah.
it. Like, you can't do that because it's
and
horrible.
and I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I've dated a few people who were into some similar situations, and there's a talking period.
Yeah,
there's a talk.
You don't just
Yeah, you
"All
don't
right,
just
let's
go in
go."
and
Like,
like you don't just
start
you know what
yelling
I mean?
at them. Like,
yeah,
like yeah.
yeah, dude. You don't just like lick the toilet, bro. Like no, you don't do that. Like there's a conversation.
It's,
like hey, bro.
this is, we have normal life. Then it's playtime. And
Yeah.
go back. Like it's not what Dennis would think it is. It's nothing. He's not that.
And
that's what we're trying to get at.
And
Sorry.
that's
Like,
the problem.
what-
And that's the problem with a lot of these like criminal investigators and everything like that. You even start seeing it again in Mindhunter, where it's based off John Douglas, where they talk about the behavioral unit of the FBI, where they mention that these people, despite how broken they are, they misinterpreted sexual control because either they never got any, or they didn't know how to separate it, and it just grew deeper and deeper and deeper. Because as an adult, you have fantasies, you have whatever.
Yeah.
You find another like adult that's like, hey, bro, do you like dirt rubbed in your face? Let's do this. Like,
and
type
that's
shit.
perfectly fine. Nobody
If-
cares. If everyone's consenting,
That's you,
whatever.
bro. That's you, boo boo. Do you?
Yeah.
I don't care. Not my thing. Whatever. Some people like feet. Some people like nipples. Some people like cans in their butt. I don't know. I don't like that. I'm just saying.
I was
that's
gonna
what
get it. I
happens.
was gonna take a drink, but I'm good now.
Yeah, I'm good. No, but like,
okay now.
but if you're consenting, and if you're,
It's
and you're the same
what we're-
age
yeah.
and all that stuff, and everything's good. Okay.
We're trying to just saying that it's not that,
Because-
these people are not that. It's not the same thing. 'Cause
Look, I have a friend who, again, me and him are very open with each other with that type of stuff. He tells me how him and his girlfriend have like this thing where they do a whole break-in role play. Where when they have date night, they go out to eat, whatever, right? She puts on a nice dress. She goes out, or she comes in and she pretends like she's getting off this date, and like she's she's getting ready to go in the shower, and he breaks into the house, has his way with her, whatever. And then after that, they go home or they go back downstairs and they watch anime and enjoy a bowl of popcorn. Like, it's their thing. Like,
yeah,
it's
that, fine.
You know what I mean?
What Dennis
It's not.
is not that. You like. I think we're overstressing this because we see it so often and all this stuff. Because it's really annoying. It's like, it's not, stop. It's not the same thing.
And researching this stuff, you kind of see both sides of the coin, and you look at everybody like, why would you assume that? But you look at the police officer side as
if
well.
If they don't know anything about
that?
it, they're like, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Right, exactly.
Like, no.
And again, you look back at the police side too and go, why would you guys think that? And then you go and then you kind of learn more about law enforcement and this type of stuff. You learn, like when you're studying true crime, you learn about law enforcement. You go, oh, they can't give out certain details. Oh, they can't do this. And then you start learning like the why behind the madness. And you're like, it's not their fault. And people are like, no, fuck these guys. These guys are bad cops. It's like, no, you don't understand. Like,
they can't tell you because they're actually trying to catch the person, and they can't because the second they tell you, hey, we have this information, the person's going to change their thing. And not just never going to find him. And
not just that, you have other, I'm going to, before we end this, because it's literally like we're running out of time on that aspect. But right before I do that, what I wanted to go ahead and point out was, what is it? The Delphi murders is a perfect example. A lot of people, if you're not familiar with Delphi murders, which we will go over, the little girls were abducted and killed, and the girl was smart enough to pull out her phone on Snapchat and put it away, so that way during the time that she got killed, they at least knew. They heard his voice. They did all that. Now a lot of people were criticizing because they only released the audio. They're like, they only released that audio where he's like down the hill, because they wanted to see if they could catch him with the audio. And people were like, oh no, these fucking police, there's got to be like this fucking conspiracy. And then finally they released the video. The video was useless. It was beyond useless. The rest of the audio was very muffled.
Blur, right? It's like a big
it's
artifacting blur.
It's not a blur. You can see the guy running up to him. Like, you can see them like walking, and like he's covered. You can't see him. Like, you just see the figure. I'll show you the video. You just see the figure, and he has his hands in his pockets, and he's like walking really fast. But that's all you see. His hat's down, all that stuff. You can't really see him. And then when you hear her and him, or like them interacting, it's very muffled and everything. And then you hear it clear, down the hill. And then, I'm not going to shoot or whatever, right? And then it continues, right? And then they go down the hill, and then the inevitable happens. And then you don't want to hear that Snapchat. I don't want to hear that Snapchat. I don't want to see that Snapchat. I don't want to see what that fucking happened. Mm-hmm. You know? Because then afterwards, what they realized is that while they were going through the grid, they showed up in the place that they had looked. So all that was recording. Why would police release that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But anyway, that was BTK's part 3 with all the communications and most of his tauntings and kind of the psychology behind BTK and how a lot of these people are functioning in that aspect.
I just want to, when we get to the end part where he does get caught, spoiler alert, a lot of his communications become way more funny.
Yeah, they do.
Because he's retarded.
And he's getting worse at it. Like, when they panic, they get worse. And then lastly, I did want to go ahead and share this. Recently, and as recently as 2023, they are discovering that there might have been more victims that Dennis Rader was attached to that they don't know about. So they're trying to figure that out.
Never have gone dark.
Yeah, he might have actually never gone dark. He might have just not gotten caught. Or in between murders, he did more.
Yeah, they didn't know.
But we'll give you guys updates. Yeah. Part 3, get ready for part 4, where you hear the last of the killings and how he gets caught.
See you guys. Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.